Hello everyone, welcome to the Portals of Awakening Masterclass. My name is Jai Gobind and this is your channel for grace. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you're watching this live, welcome in, and if you're watching the replay, then welcome as well. If you're watching the replay, any questions that you have during the broadcast, just put them in the comments of this video and I will definitely be checking those out periodically. So I just want to tell you guys that I'm so excited to talk about this topic because this is something that has been fascinating me for a very long time. I've been wanting to understand what portals are. I hear people talking about portals and I'm wondering, what does it look like? What does it feel? Am I going through a portal right now? How do I identify it? So we have a pretty awesome slideshow that I'm gonna show you guys. So if you're here live, let me know that you are in the chat. And also when you have questions, just post them in the chat and I will be looking at those as well. So let me know if you guys are ready by giving me that thumbs up in the chat and let us get started. I'm going to pull up the slides and we're going to just get into it. So here we go. You see me over here up in the little corner. All right. I'm going to check that the volume works. Yep, it does. So here we go. Portals of Awakening Masterclass. First off, I want to say thank you all so very much for being here. Hey Sheila, welcome in, for signing up for this class. It is my passion to share these amazing gifts, this knowledge, this information that I have, received through my years of pretty much studying and going through my awakening and going through my ascension process and realizing that there is a very beautiful body of knowledge that I did come here to share with the world. Now, the special thing about this class is it's basically the content or the outline of the book that I am actually writing. And the book is going to be called Portals. So you're getting actually a preview of what's coming in the future in my life, in my little realm. But this is what is happening today. And we're going to talk about portals. And yes, okay. So what are we covering today? We are going to go over what portals are, how to identify them, what do they look like or feel like. We're going to talk about awakenings. So what is an awakening? How can you know if you're having an awakening? We're going to talk about the ascension of the earth and what that actually means. We're going to talk about the chakras, the 7 major chakras, and there's more chakras beyond the 7 major chakras, but we'll talk about the 7 major ones. And there is a reason why we're going to talk about the chakras in this class. So just wanted to let you guys know that. Yeah, I know. I know, Sheila, me too. So we're also going to cover what portals of awakening are. There's 7 major portals of awakening, and this is what I'm writing my book about. These 7 major portals, or this idea, this theory came to me intuitively through a channeled message. And I laid it all out, and after I looked at it, I realized that I really do need to write a book about it. But you guys are getting it right now. We're also going to talk about protection and boundaries, how to protect yourself and how to set healthy boundaries. We're going to do a shamanic journey to discover our true purpose. And if there's, for any reason, anybody doesn't, because all shamanic journeys, and we'll talk about it a little bit more when we get there, but all shamanic journeys are very individual. And you will see what I mean when we get to that point. And I'll also ask you guys later on in the class if you guys have ever done a shamanic journey before. But it's possible that you receive an intuitive message from this shamanic journey of what your purpose is. And it's possible that you receive a hint to continue to search for more clues. And just wanted to throw that out there because sometimes it comes very clearly and sometimes it doesn't come very clearly. So there's not a guarantee that you're going to get, exactly what your purpose is for this lifetime, but you will get definitely clues and intuitive hits, and you'll be able to start to learn to use your intuition as you receive those messages. And then we'll talk about what some next steps are for you to stay connected with the community, with this channel, with me on Facebook, and also with the Earth School for Lightworkers. So let's get started. Portals. What is a portal? A portal is an energetic doorway, a gate, or an entrance. And the reason it is a doorway, a gate, or an entrance is because, just like you would imagine a regular door, you open it, you go through, and then you close it behind you. And then you're in a completely different room. If you use that analogy, it's really easy to understand what this whole idea of portals is coming from. You're basically opening the door and going to a different room, in our case, a different dimension, a different reality. It's all about transformation. You cannot go back once you have stepped through a portal. There's just no way. Because the way that portals work is just like the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. If you haven't heard the story of the caterpillar becoming a butterfly, it's not just a story. This is literally what happens when a butterfly is born. The caterpillar basically goes into this cocoon and it just kind of sits there and waits, okay? Which is kind of interesting. Something starts to happen inside of it. There's an energetic shift. And these cells, called the imaginal cells, begin to appear. And it seems almost as if these cells, called the imaginal cells, are beginning to appear out of nowhere. But, so where do they come from, right? The truth is that energy it's everywhere. All of the different forms that life exists within. And I mean life, not just physical life. I'm talking about life in general. Energy is life, right? Light, energy, your soul is light. Spiritual beings, they exist in this other dimension. They are still alive, in a sense, not in the way that a physical body would be alive, but they are still alive. So these cells begin to appear, seemingly out of nowhere, inside the caterpillar's body. And the cells at first get attacked by the caterpillar cells. And they survive, and they begin to find each other. And it's almost like they grow in numbers as they continue to find each other. And once there's this tipping point, the imaginal cells have taken over. The rest of the caterpillar cells literally become this nutritional soup for the imaginal cells. And then you have a butterfly. The butterfly, there's nothing in the butterfly that resembles anything of a caterpillar. You wouldn't look at it, you wouldn't be able to look at the cellular structure of a butterfly and say, oh yes, there's where the caterpillar came from. Like, there's no clues. It's a completely different thing. And that is literally why you can't go back once you step through a portal, because you have changed. You have changed energetically. You have changed mentally. Your awareness has changed. You have changed physically. Do you know those stories of people that are able to heal themselves from cancer and things like that without any medical help, say, for example? Almost like we would look back and say, wow, that's a miracle healing. Somebody was healed and it was a miracle. But the truth is that really what was going on is they were able to become that butterfly. They were able to transform their energy completely. And in an energetic sense, it begins to affect you very deeply in a physical sense. And so your cellular structures begin to change. Literally. This is healing, you guys. I mean, this is why portals is like so fascinating to me, because we tend to separate energies over here, physical bodies over here, but we don't realize how much it's all interconnected. And when you go into the energetic world, when you go through these portals, you change energetically, you shift energetically, even if it's an awareness thing. Your mind starts to think different thoughts. You let go of the past and you move into a new, unknown, but exciting reality. And as you do that, that energy, that frequency, that vibration that you are connecting with begins to change literally your cellular structure. That's why people can heal miraculously from diseases or things that, you know, are terminal, or we think that's the end of the road. People come back from that because they have literally changed themselves at an energetic level. They have allowed themselves to go through a portal, and there's no going back to the old. It's completely different now. That is why the story of the caterpillar becoming the butterfly is so fascinating to me, because it's such a perfect example. And it's literally, we can see that with our eyes. We can't really see portals with our eyes. We can definitely feel them intuitively. But we can see a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, you know? And so it's so cool to have that proof that it's real. This is, you know, portals are drastic changes in your life. And I say drastic because there's no going back. Things that you once agreed with, things that you once believed were true about yourself in your life are no longer true. And you have to identify, you have to lose an identity. You have to let some part of you die and begin to identify with something new and something different. And that's the shift. It could be a shift in your conscious awareness. It could be a shift in your perception of you and your life and who you are in life. And these portals are ways of stepping into higher vibrational frequencies, new dimensions, and the new earth. And if you haven't heard of Dolores Cannon, she talks about this a lot. I would recommend getting any of her books. There's one called Keepers of the Garden. That is the very first one that I actually got from her, and it just blew my mind. Keepers of the Garden, it's called. So that is what portals are in a nutshell. Now let's talk about awakening. What does it mean to awaken? Well, to awaken is to basically wake up from a dream, right? To awaken is to realize that you were dreaming. Now, what is that dream? There's a lot of cultures that actually talk about this phenomenon. And they say, you know, shamans especially, we're going to do this. We're actually going to do a shamanic journey. Shamans will take you into this dream world, this underworld. We call it the ukupacha in the shamanic tradition that I am being trained in right now. But this is the underworld, and you go into this dream world that is literally the place of your subconscious mind that you can begin to heal from. This is the very deep essence that all the trauma, all the things that are held, you know, are in this world, in this ukupacha, in the subconscious mind. And then you wake up from dreaming one day, right? And you realize something is different. Well, when I refer to dreaming in our waking state, there's dreaming that is basically going into the subconscious mind. This is like a different dimensional field. It's in the imagination. But we like to think, you know, when we call little kids, oh my God, they have such a huge imagination. That's real. They are in the other worlds with their imagination. Like, who are we to say that just because we imagined something, it's not real, right? These are belief systems that have been ingrained. Most adults grow up feeling like they need to stop being a kid. But that childlike energy is exactly what the universe needs us to reawaken. And that energy only can come to you if you realize that all of these old structures, all of these old belief systems that you were taught were the way you're supposed to be are actually wrong. And you need to awaken from that. Because that is the dream. It's called the dream of the planet, right? It's society. It's what you learned as a child. It's what your parental figures taught you. It's what you learned from growing up. Most of us learn to push away our dreams, our imagination, to push away our desires for happiness, to push away feelings of being enough right where we're at and knowing our power to manifest, to bring those dreams, those thoughts, those imaginative realities into the physical time-space reality. That is what the law of attraction is all about. The law of attraction says that basically what you think, what you're projecting out, because what you think, it's going out like signals. You're sending out signals to the universe, and then the universe goes, okay, here's that. It mirrors it back to you, kind of like a twin flame in this really weird way. But it mirrors it back to you and it brings it back, and that's what you get. So if you're in that happy, joyful, beautiful, ecstatic place, that's the signals you're sending out, and that's the messages that are coming back. And that's why our imagination and clearing our subconscious mind and awakening from the dream of the old us, the old person that we were, and stepping into a new us, that is why these portals are here, because they are helpers. These portals help us to step through and start to live our purpose. Most people that are attracted to the classes that I give, the Earth School that we did, the Earth School for Lightworkers, these are people that they want something more in life. They know that there's more than just what meets the eye, and they feel it in like every part of their being, and they need the answers. They're looking for the truth. And it's perfect that you guys are in this class, because it's going to show you where you're at in that journey of awakening and ascension. Awakening is to become aware of your conditioning, the mental and emotional structures that make you up, and realizing that there is another way to live. It is seeing the unseen and hearing the unheard. That's your intuition. Knowing that there's no going back to what was, and beginning your quest for the truth. The ascension of the earth, the age of light. You are not here by chance on this planet. You actually chose it. There was a beautiful image that a beautiful author wrote in her book called Light is the New Black. Her name is Rebecca Campbell. If you have not gotten that book, that is a must for lightworkers. She also has another one called Rise, Sister Rise. That's another one. Really, really important for women lightworkers. So she talks about how one day she had a dream or a vision, or whatever you want to call it, that she was standing in this very large space in soul form, waiting to receive her mission. And everyone in that room, I'm getting chills right now because I can see it in my mind's eye. Everyone in that room was getting ready to come to Earth, to help bring more light to the planet, to help in the ascension of the planet. There's another really good book. It's called The Sophia Code. It's for women. Men definitely can get into it for sure, but it's really more an empowering women kind of book. And it is about healing yourself at a DNA level. And just like I have 7 portals here, she's got in the book these different archetypes. But they're not just archetypes. She calls them key codes. And they are goddesses, women, divine beings that have been on the planet before. One of them is Isis, goddess Isis. Another one is Hathor, Another one is Mary Magdalene. Another one is Mother Mary. Another one is Kuan Yin. Another one is White Buffalo Calf Woman. These beings, these divine beings, these ascended masters or ascended goddesses, right? I think I'm going to start using that word now. These ascended goddesses are beings that in spiritual form you can still call upon to come help you. These are spirit guides for us now. But we can embody their energy and we can heal ourselves through their example, through how they did it. And the book is powerful because it talks about the ascension of the planet. And this is a planet that is ascending. And no, there's no proof, you know. For those of us that need that proof that we can see with our eyes, we're going to have a really difficult time moving about in the world. And I'm not saying that to be mean or anything like that, but I'm serious, because if you're not able to understand that you are so much more than just your body, when you receive intuitive messages, when you receive wisdom from the universe, you are not going to get it. You won't be able to bring it in. You won't be able to process it. You'll mostly deny it, ignore it, pretend, you know, those thought patterns that tell us this is all bullshit, that will push it away. And so you need to open yourself up to understand and to receive knowledge in a different way than what nowadays our typical scientific method wants to prove things. So we can't see it, you know, we can't touch it, we can't smell it, we can't hear it, you know what I mean? But we can feel it, and we can see it with our mind's eye, with our third eye. This is the sixth chakra. It's called the ajna. We'll talk about it, but you need to open up to that. You need to open yourself up. You need to know. You need to have that inner knowing that there is so much more than what meets the eye, and you will be able to understand. Chances are that if you're watching this video, you are a light worker. Like, you are a starseed, and you are looking for answers. You are looking for the truth. This is the Aquarian age. This is the age of light. We're here. This is it. Like, this is it, you guys. Like, you don't need to wait anymore. You just need to open yourself up, listen to your intuition, and do what your heart tells you. That is the mission. That is how we bring more light to the world. It's to teach people, just like, you know, examples of ascended masters, just like Jesus basically taught. We're more than just this physical body. We are enlightened beings. We are souls. When our body dies, we continue on. Our soul gets wrapped into our subtle body and travels onwards. Time is an illusion. You've always been here, and you will never die. You will only transmute. You will only transform. You will only continue to change and evolve. That is the knowledge that will guide you through all of these intense portals that you're going to go through as you continue on your ascension journey. And the reason that this planet is ascending, or the reason why lightworkers are here, I'll tell you a little bit about Dolores Cannon. Have you guys, those of you that are watching live or watching the replay, will you put in the comments if you've heard of Dolores Cannon? Just say yes or no. She has this knowledge of the 3 waves of volunteers, which matches the story that I just told you about Rebecca Campbell. She says that basically the planet was seeded. Many, many planets are seeded. Life doesn't just form, although sometimes it does. And there are native creatures, beings on planets, but life as advanced as like human being life, this sort of being, is something that is brought to the planet. Lindsay says yes. Sheila says only from me. Okay. So basically, the planet has been seeded long time ago. And there was a goal. There was a mission for the planet, right? But something happened, and no one really knows what. But I've heard this from various different books and various different people. Something happened that changed the course of the planet. And instead of going in the direction that it was planned to go, it started becoming dark. Darkness came in and started to take over. And because whoever is watching over us, those beings cannot interfere with us here on Earth, because Earth is a free will planet, which means that we all get to choose what we want to do. We get to choose if we want to suffer. We get to choose if we want to be joyful. We get to choose if we want to be free. We get to choose everything. And there's something really important to be said about the difference between actually being physically abused and then the mind, mentally abused. Because a lot of our suffering, there's so many of us in the world today that suffer, even though we're not physically suffering, like no one's hurting us, no one's, punishing us physically, but we still suffer. And the suffering that I'm talking about is the mental suffering. It's the freeing your mind. It's the knowing that everything happens because it's supposed to. It's divinely guided, but you do have a choice. And it's very important to recognize that, because that will help you free yourself. That will help you free your mind. But Dolores Cannon talks about these 3 waves of volunteers. The first wave, and the reason why this idea came up, this whole thing came up because of the atomic bomb in the Second World War. When that atomic bomb was thrown, it opened up, literally created a portal. But this was something also that happened like way long time ago during the Lemurian ancient societies. There was also something that happened then where they tried to recreate the Merkaba field, and the experiment went wrong, and it started just like sucking energy. And the place for that is actually the Bermuda Triangle. So weird things happening in the Bermuda Triangle because there's this weird experiment there, like a Merkaba field that just sucks up energy, and it takes it somewhere else in the universe. And they haven't been able to stop it. Okay, that's side note, but really fascinating. But when we threw the atomic bomb, and because of that energy, this portal that is like around the Bermuda Triangle, and energy doesn't just disappear, it has to go somewhere else, right? So atomic bomb goes off here, and it literally affects the universe somewhere else. And so when that happened, that was when they were like, okay, that's enough, and we need, like, the earth needs help. And so they sent out a call for help, and all of these volunteers came, and this matches that vision that Rebecca Campbell had. They all met, and they all, the goal or the vision was for all of these beings to be incarnated as human beings, because although they couldn't make much change from outside, from just watching, they thought, well, maybe we can help change from the inside, which means that everybody had to be born as a human being, which means because of the nature of Earth, that when you are born as a human being, you forget who you are. You forget where you came from, and the whole journey of life is remembering who you are again, is coming back to remembering. It's almost like waking up from the dream, right? These things are all intertwined. And so there was 3 waves that came. The first wave are people in their 50s, 60s. They're older. They're probably much older now. But these are people that came first. They were like the trailblazers. And a lot of them had very, very difficult time. Very, very difficult time here on Earth. A lot of them have committed suicide because they couldn't handle it. The earth is a very dense energy. And the emotions that are rampant here on the planet, anger, rage, those heavy emotions, depression, sadness, like light beings are not used to that kind of density. Those emotions are such low vibrations. They literally weigh you down. That's why you feel like you're coming out of a depression, like you're lifting up from a depression, because you're weighted down by those negative emotions, those negative vibrations. And so it's so intense that a lot of them didn't make it. Then came the second wave. And the second wave are people in their, say 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s probably now. And these people, they were a little more ready. Their DNA was a little bit more ready for the intensity that they were going to experience. And so these beings their job is just to be who they are. Because who they are is this amazing vibrational frequency, and that's the frequency that needs to pierce through the frequencies of the earth. And you create more by being more of that. So whatever lights you up, whatever makes you happy, whatever wakes you up, whatever excites you the most, these are the things that you need to do. And that's your job. You're like an antenna. You are the antenna. You are the channel for grace. And you receive the messages and you just put them out. That's the second wave. And that's why so many second wavers feel like, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to do here? And literally what they're supposed to do here is just be themselves. Fully themselves, right? Not the trauma, but fully themselves. The third wave is the children. And the children are ready to go. They don't need anything. They just need to be kept alive. They just need to be fed and watered and just taken care of and loved unconditionally. So if you have a child that seems out of this world, that seems like they have this powerful energy to them, they light up the room, they're smart, they are, just something else, then you have a starseed. You have a light worker on your hands. And that's powerful because you get to show this child what it's like to grow up being free to do their mission, right? To do their work. It's an honor. But these children their DNA is ready. They have a much easier time. It's almost like they hit the ground running. There's a lot of children that are very young doing things that most young kids will not do until they're adults. You know what I mean? I'm talking about creating organizations, helping the planet, this kind of stuff. These kids, there's kids creating organizations to help the planet or to help other kids. It's amazing. So those are the three waves. So you might find yourself in one of these waves, just like Barb's saying over here. You might find yourself there. So pay attention to the knowledge and how it's coming to you, because it's coming to you for a reason. And you're the one that has to decipher it. You're the one that has to look for the clues. So we're going to talk about the chakras next. And the reason I want to talk about the chakras is because they are sort of these little antennas that help us to understand where we're at on our journey. And when you understand the chakras, you know what parts of yourself need healing, and you know how to move forward in your life. So what are the chakras? The chakras are wheels or centers of energy. They're located within and also without your body. There are 7 major chakras in the body and many more outside the body. The chakras can be both balanced or unbalanced. You can balance your chakras through meditation, through energy work, through body work, and working with crystals. In the Intuition Masterclass, I actually went through and gave the class 10 of the most powerful crystals to activate their intuition. And there's a really good example of how you can use crystals to help you heal certain parts of your body. The chakras are very closely connected to our emotions. We heal ourselves through our emotions. Our emotions are connected to our heart. Our heart is connected to our soul. This is the gateway. We have a portal right inside of us, and it is our heart. When you listen to your heart, you're listening to your soul. That's your portal right here on earth. And the heart is usually what starts to nag at you, right? It nudges you. It starts to say, hey, hey. When all else fails, you end up right back at your heart. And home is where the heart is, right? That's something that's been coming up. That message has been coming up, especially with the eclipses coming up. But home is where the heart is. Where are you in your heart space? Do you have trauma from the past that has not healed? Is it holding you back? Are those emotions keeping you held back, kind of chained to a past that is no longer who you are? And that is why it's so important to let go of those chains, to break those chains and free yourself of those things. Because you can't move on. You can't carry the baggage. The root chakra, or the first chakra. This is like your grounding cord to planet Earth. You need to feel safe. That is what helps you feel safe. It's called Muladhara. It's connected to the adrenal glands and the coccygeal, the bones, the feet, the immune system, the large intestines, the legs, and the rectum, and it's the element of earth. So it's everything from the base of your spine down. You know, it's like your legs, it's your feet. It's the thing that connects you to earth. It's the root, right? And when you do grounding meditations, like if you don't feel safe in your life, if your foundation, if you don't have a foundation where you feel safe, that means there's something wrong with the root chakra. If you have something going on with your bones, your feet, immune system, large intestine, legs, and rectum, something's up with the root chakra. This is what I mean. The body reflects the energy centers. That is why you can take all the pills you want for whatever swelling or whatever is going on in your body. You can take all the medicine you want that is made here on the planet, right? All the synthetic drugs that doctors give, and you will not heal what's at the root of what's causing that, because it's energetic, it's emotional. You have to heal the emotional and the energetic part, or you're not going to heal that. It's not going to go away. That's why you got to keep coming back to your heart, and heal and let go. Because honestly, everything that we've experienced in this life is just one little tiny, tiny, tiny bit of who we are. We are so much more. We go beyond time and space, but we think this is it. That's why it's such, going from feeling trapped in a body to knowing that you are free. That's a pretty big stretch. You can't just get way over there, you know, freedom, life, joy, all that. You can't get there in one day. And that's why there's portals that help you go, okay, here's the first step. All right, now that you've gotten through this door, let's work on this area of your life, and then let's move on. Then when you're ready, you go on to the next one, right? So this is the root, this is the base, this is your foundation. The sacral chakra, or the second chakra, this is your creativity. It's called Svadhisthana. It is connected to the sacral plexus, to the gonads and the ovaries. This is the bladder, the genitals, the kidneys, the large bowel, the prostate, and the uterus. And it is the element of water. So anything that goes on in that area of your body is connected to your second chakra, your sacral chakra. Water is about flowing. Water is about moving. Water continues on. Like, it doesn't stop flowing, you know? We create dams, but those are not really natural on the earth. Not in the magnitude that we create them, right? That's stagnant water. But most of the water flows through the rain, flows through the rivers, eventually finds its way to the ocean, and then repeats, gets evaporated up, becomes clouds, and it starts all over again. It's a cleansing. It's a cleansing process that just continues on and on and on. When that gets stuck, when that gets stagnant, you're going to feel like you're not creative. You're going to have problems with like intimacy, because this is all about the sexual organs. This is love, right? This is like creativity. This is like the goddess energy, right? You're that feminine, the sacred divine feminine. You're going to have issues with that if you're not letting yourself cleanse and flow. And a lot of our, sexual trauma is like stuck here in the sacral chakra. That's basically where it's at. And this is where I feel like most people have sacral chakra issues, because they can't express themselves. We've been taught not to be passionate. We've been taught that, being passionate and being sensual is like gross or something, right? But it's quite the opposite. And that for me personally has been one of the most challenging things, barriers to kind of get over, is the whole be free to be sensual, be free to express yourself, be free to literally flirt with nature, flirt with spirit. That's a foreign term to us, but you have to be free. Keep thinking free, free, I am free, I am free. And then whatever you want to express yourself, just let yourself express. And whenever that little voice in the back of your head says, hey, this is stupid, or you're doing it wrong, that's not you. Those are the old structures that are dying. That's what you need to realize. The solar plexus chakra, or the third chakra. Now this is your willpower. So you go from the root where you feel safe, you're grounded, you have a platform to literally jump off of. You go through the solar plexus where you start to express yourself, you start to express your creativity, and now we move to the place of action. This is the belly button, or the place of your digestive system. This is your willpower. It's called Manipura. It is connected to the solar plexus and the pancreas. It is connected to the digestive system, the liver, and the muscles, and it is the fire element, because fire is action. Fire lights us up and it makes us move. It lights like a fire under our ass, right? And it makes us want to do something about it. It makes us want to take action. So this is where you begin to project yourself outward. Up until now, it's been very much an inner journey and a feeling journey, but now it's okay. Now this is me projecting out. That is the solar plexus chakra. The heart chakra is your ability to love and be compassionate. It is called the anahata. It is connected to the heart and the thymus, the arms, the hands, the heart, and the lungs, and it is the element of air. When we move to the heart center, we begin to understand on a very deep emotional level, a very deep compassionate level, what is going on in the world. This is where you start to move up. This is like the middle of the in-between. This is the portal. That's why I keep calling it a portal, because it's the portal of your heart, right? This is where your very earthly experiences with the first, second, and third chakras begin to transform, and you begin to understand that there's more to this than just my ego. And now we begin to speak with the throat, see with the third eye, and connect to the divine with the crown. So that is why this is the portal of the heart, the portal of your heart. because it connects you to the higher centers, which take you into the spirit realm. You go from the earthly realm to the spirit realm through your chakras, literally. The throat chakra, this is the higher three. There's like a triangle, right? There's a triangle that points up below the heart, and then a triangle that points down above the heart, the masculine and the feminine. But the throat chakra is your ability to speak your truth and to express yourself through words. It is called the Vishuddha chakra. It is connected to the pharyngeal, or the pharynx, the thyroid and the parathyroid. It is neck and shoulders, and it is the element of ether, space. Because when you speak, it's a vibration, it's a frequency, and those waves literally travel great distances. But the throat is about speaking your truth. Who are you at a deeper level? When you feel any kind of neck and shoulder stuff, when you feel like you can't speak up, that's throat chakra. That's an energetic blockage. What made you get to that point where you can't speak your truth? How do you heal it, right? How do you move through that and open up your voice? The third eye chakra, or the sixth chakra, is your ability to see the unseen and hear the unheard. It is called the ajna, connected to the hypothalamus and the autonomic nervous system. It is the eyes, but it is really the third eye. And it is the element of light, because you can travel through your third eye. That is how we will travel into our shamanic journey. You can travel through your third eye, and you can travel through your heart as well. Or both. But basically light, because it gets so much lighter. These frequencies they're not dense anymore. We're not talking earthly, physical things, dense things. We're talking visions, dreams, channeled messages, intuition, the ability to see the unseen and hear the unheard, which is something that you cannot do unless you're in tune, which means you've got to be listening for the subtle. This is subtle. Sometimes it's very loud and clear, but most of the time, intuition comes in very subtle ways. And it is really beautiful. And this is your ability to communicate with the spirit world, your third eye. Also connected to the pituitary gland, which is something I didn't put on here. But I'm actually going to add it right now because we can. The pituitary gland. And that's this little gland that sits kind of in front of the brain, right? Behind your this way it's here between the eyebrows on your forehead, because it's like sitting right behind there. And it kind of just it can get calcified too, you guys. By the way, don't use toothpaste that has fluoride in it, because it'll calcify your pituitary gland, and it'll make it really difficult. You won't once that happens and it's solid, it needs to be flowing, soft and movable. And if it's really hard, your intuition is going to be cut off. Just a side note. So the crown chakra, or the seventh major chakra in the body, is your ability to move beyond the physical body and into the spirit dimension, into the divine. It's called Sahasrara. It's often called the 1,000-petaled lotus, and it kind of spins clockwise. All of these can spin counterclockwise or clockwise. If it's spinning counterclockwise, that means that it's something's up, something's wrong, it's not balanced. When it spins clockwise, that means you've reset it, and everything's kind of going the right way, spinning in the right direction. But the lotus sits on top of the crown, and it's the ever unfolding flower, right? It's the ever unfolding lotus, or the ever unfolding rose, because you continue to expand your awareness. You continue to learn something new. There's infinite knowledge that you can connect to here. This is your ability to connect with God, with the divine, with the universe. And a lot of people travel through their crown as well when they do astral travel. This is connected to the cerebral cortex and the central nervous system, the brain, and the nervous system in general. And it is the element of thought. Remember, thoughts become things. All right. How you guys doing so far? Let me know in the comments. So we're going to go into the topic of the portals of awakening right now. And there are 7 major ones. But it's not just 7 major portals. There's more portals than that. There's more subtle portals. There's more big portals. There's the portals of, the astrological events that get created, the eclipses, and the planets aligning, and the conjunctions, and, and the squares, and all of these things are portals. Okay? So there's like infinite number of portals. But these 7 are the ones that align with your healing journey. These are the portals that you step through as you begin your journey and you move forward into ascension, into stepping into your purpose. So, what are the 7 major portals of awakening? The most clear portals you will go through in your awakening and ascension journey. These are easy to see. These are easy to identify. It's like, oh, I just went through this portal. I know what's going on. Okay, I got this, right? They are called the 7 major because there are many more, but these are easy to determine. They are gateways that open for us to step through and continue on our healing journey. And they are opportunities for us to see a little more clearly, a little more deeply, and a little more open-minded. The portal of remembering. The portal of remembering is when you get to a point in your life where you begin to ask yourself, who am I? Why am I here? Where did I come from? What's going on? Why this? Why that? The questions almost never end. They're infinite. And you're bombarded, right? It's a point in your life where you realize that everything that you've learned so far, you're no longer able to identify with. For example, I grew up Catholic. I never really did identify with being Catholic. It always felt weird to me. It didn't feel honest. It didn't feel authentic. And there was a point in my life where I'm like, I don't think I'm Catholic. You know what I mean? Like things like that, that's just a really like funny and simple example, but it's things like that. Or like, for example, a much, much more intense example from my own personal life, which I'm sharing with you, is the fact that I've come to realize that, the mother that gave birth to me is on a completely different journey than me, and I have literally surpassed fully her ability to understand and be aware of what I'm aware of. There's no way that she could ever know or understand what the hell I'm talking about, okay? So this has really affected our relationship because I continue to grow and I continue to keep passing through more portals and more portals and more portals and stepping into my power and becoming, the goddess, the priestess, the light worker that I was meant to be, that I came here to be. And for her, it's too much. And so I've had to come to terms that this person that holds this space, in my life, even though they are blood related, this is like the person that gave birth to me. This is my mother here in this lifetime. She's not really my mother. And that's my own personal journey. It's not, it could have nothing to do with yours, but I'm just using it as an example because it is one of the very biggest, probably one of the biggest hurdles or realizations or things that I've had to realize is, I'm here for a reason, and here's this person really rejecting why I'm here, really rejecting me stepping into my power, really rejecting me choosing to be me and to be free. And that energy has been such a downer in my life, and I've tried to make it work, but it's never worked. And so I've had to let go of it. I've had to literally like cut those cords and let go of my desire to be valued by someone else, my desire to be recognized by this person, you know, my desire to feel the need to be mothered by this person. And so it was a tough one. And that's a lot tougher, right? Of a one than I'm not Catholic, right? But I just want to give you an example of the things that start to cross your mind when you step through the portal of remembering, because you literally begin to remember who you really are. You haven't forgotten. You just came into the world. You're welcome, Lindsay. You just came into the world, and it's like you got amnesia for a little bit, right? So I guess in a sense you did forget, but now once you step through that portal of remembering, you begin to remember, like, you know, I think there's something more to this, you know, I think we're here, like something, like I want to know, right? You want to start to know the truth about the world, why you're here, why we're all here, you know? It's a different level of awareness. Can you guys feel what I'm talking about? Levels of awareness where people are kind of stuck in their, like, they only see right here in front of their eyes, but we're starting to see beyond and move out and through. And it's very threatening for people, because it means that you absolutely have to let go of some things so that you can continue on the journey. And the reason you can't go back is because staying where you're at and having a higher awareness is fucking torture. Like, do not torture yourselves, please. You know, it's torture to know that you're so much more than this and you're stuck right here, right? Because of this person or that relationship or blah, 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 blah. Those are all, none of that matters. Like, who are you on the inside, right? You begin to remember who you truly are, and you begin to question everything. That's how you know you've stepped through the portal of remembering. It's the very first phase of healing. The portal of darkness. The portal of darkness is, why is everything falling apart? Like, what is going on? You begin to remember who you are, and then life throws something at you, and you're just like, oh my God, what is happening? Literally, why does everything feel like it's falling apart? Because it is. Because it needs to. Because you need to break off those pieces. And that shit hurts. And it doesn't feel very good. It's the dark night of the soul. It's the Tower card. It's shedding the old you. It's the shamanic death ritual. And when you finally are able to get to a place of surrender, that's when you finally get it. And you no longer need to hold on to what you were holding on to. You needed to let it go. It's almost like the monkey that can't let go of one branch until it has a really good hold on the other branch, right? That kind of idea. It's definitely rough, for sure. But it's that idea of like, just let it go. Like, just let go of the other branch. Trust that you will grab onto the next one. And that moment where you're in the air, like, oh my God, you know what I mean? It's scary as shit, okay? I could tell you my experience of going through the portal of darkness. I was in, you know, my old relationship, my ex, which was the most significant relationship in my life, because it was the one that I learned the most about myself that I've ever experienced in my life. But I had to go through that in order to learn. And there came a point where I knew it was time to release it. I knew it was time to let it go, and I had no idea why I had held on to it for so long when I knew the whole time it wasn't for me. It wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. I knew that, but I stayed and I stayed and I stayed. And the reason that I stayed was because I had been taught by my mother and my father and my parents and whoever was an adult in my life growing up that that was normal. I lived that way my whole life. Emotional abuse that just continued on and felt so familiar that I thought it was okay. But it wasn't. And I had to learn that it wasn't okay. And it literally opened me up to realize that it wasn't my ex that caused me all this pain. It wasn't my ex that caused me all this grief. It was my parents. It was my childhood. It was growing up. It was everything that I was taught. And that's what I had to see. So it wasn't just that I had to let go of the relationship that I was scared shitless to release. It was that I had to face at the same time that I was losing not only that, but I was also losing something that I thought I had, right? And I literally chose to get my own apartment, and I had no idea how I was going to pay for it. And that moment between when I got it to when I literally had to pay the rent by myself the next month was my like monkey moment. Like, oh shit. Like, oh my God. Like, how am I going to do this? Right? Like, how am I going to do this? And but if I hadn't let go of that one, I would have never grabbed the other one. You know, that's the key right there. So that moment of surrender is what freed me and what frees you energetically to open up the next door. It's really powerful. Lindsay says, do we go through these multiple times, or when they feel like they persist, is this just a signal that they were still ongoing? So your question is, do you go through them? Let me rephrase that and see if I get it right. Do we continue to go through them like over and over, or when we feel like we're going through them over and over again, we just haven't fully gone through? Is that what you mean? I think that's what you mean. Do we go through these multiple times, or when they feel like they persist, is this just a signal that they were still ongoing? So you have to remember that time is an illusion. So officially healing from something cannot really be, you can't really say, oh, I healed that trauma in like 2 years and 5 days and 3 hours or something like that. You know, I'm exaggerating, okay? I'm totally exaggerating. But you will know when you're done with it. You will know when you're officially done with it. There is, okay, I'm getting a song right here. This is really funny that I'm getting this song, but Taylor Swift, it's in her album Red, I think. And I think it might be her last song. And in the song, she says something like, and on a Wednesday in a cafe, I watched it begin again. And the story of the song is that she has finally let go of the past. Like, the past is finally past. So you might have different things that you have to heal from that all are in this realm of dark night of the soul, tower card, shedding the old you. This healing process, it'll happen with many different things that have to be healed. So it'll feel like you're kind of going through them over and over again, but it's really like a whole new thing that's coming up for you that you're going through and you're releasing and you're moving on from. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that answers your question. I feel like I've gone through this one multiple times in different domains. Yes, so you can. So I guess what I just said answered that question. You will feel like once you get through one thing, oh my God, here comes the next one. And then here comes the next one, and here comes the next one. And eventually you understand that when things come up, it's time to heal it. And so instead of ignoring it, putting it away, hiding it, like pushing it away, you actually are like, all right, let me face you now, right? Like, let me look at you. What are you? Who are you? Where did you come from? What do I need to do with you? You know, you get wise to the process, and that's what makes you a teacher, basically, because now you are no longer in the hiding mode. You face your fears straight on. You face your fears straight on. You're welcome. All right, the portal of discovering. The portal of discovering, okay? This is where you literally are like, I want to know the truth. I want to know the truth. You're like, I just died and I'm still alive. Somehow I died, but I'm still alive. So what the hell is going on? Somebody give me some answers here. And you go on a quest. This is like the knight in shining armor that goes on a quest to discover the truth. You begin to take action in your life towards a different path. So I started to do what I love. I quit the jobs that were not serving me. There was plenty of them. It took me a while to finally like release those ties, because in my world, if I didn't have a job, I felt like I was a failure. If I didn't have a job, I felt like I was lazy. But there was other things that I really wanted to do, that really inspired me, that really like lit me up, that really made me so excited, and that I was good at. That were not a job per se, but they were something that really like brought me to my center. And that's things like this, right? So I started to put together classes and courses and videos, and I started my channels, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to freaking do this. Like, this is what I want to do. And it was such a scary transition, but I was like wanting to take action towards what I really wanted in my life, and to stop paying attention to those things that told me what I was supposed to do. And I knew, even though they still kind of nagged at me, or like pulled these little strings because I hadn't quite released them yet, I knew that they weren't right. I knew that that wasn't for me. So I had to trust. This is a place where you trust. And you begin to venture into the unknown, which is so important. You begin to trust. You begin to take those steps in the world of the unknown, and you begin to free yourself more and more and more and more, and you drop more things, and you let go more things, and you drop some more baggage, and you cut some more cords, and you break the chains, and you just keep going. You just keep going. And you discover yourself all over again, because once part of you dies, once the old you dies, then who are you? You have to literally discover yourself all over again. What do you love? What do you like? What do you not like? Literally, like I'm seeing a book, like almost like a Bible, right? Like, you know, here's all the rules that you were given when you're in your childhood, boom. And then you're like, okay, I'm not that anymore, so we're gonna like burn that book, right? And then here's like a whole new book, but it's empty. And you don't know what it says. You don't know what's in it. You don't know who you are anymore. That's why people feel like they're going crazy when they're going through an awakening or an ascension. It's like they feel like they're going crazy because they don't know who they are anymore. But if you don't know who you are anymore, you're on the right track. Because what's next? Well, time to find out who you really are. Time to find out what you are really about, you know? And you begin to go on this quest for the truth. And it feels scary as shit, but very exciting. All right, the portal of love. So once you are embarking on this journey of discovery and finding who you are, and you know, you go through your ups and your downs, you know, it doesn't mean that life gets getting better. It just means that you take things differently. You understand things differently. And when you really get to a place of understanding of what you finally get a glimpse of, like, wait a minute, I think I know what's going on. I think I'm starting to understand. You've stepped through the portal of love. Because this is where you begin to understand. You begin to feel your heart. Your heart's like, hey, like, I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you to like see me, to listen to me, to be with me, to honor yourself by listening to me. And you begin to lead from your heart. Your awareness expands beyond just you and your own personal journey, and it expands to see it all. It's just like getting a bigger picture. It's forgiveness. You know that song, I Forgive? This is exactly like this. In that song, the lyrics are, who am I to judge? Right? And part of the lyrics are, if I can remember without singing, because it's really weird to just recite the lyrics without singing. She goes, you were both my chains and my freedom. You were both the darkness and the light. I could see your angels and your demons. You were both my mirror and my eyes. It means I was looking at myself, right? And in that part of the chorus, I'm trying to remember, this is so crazy. I've seen people have trouble like this before with lyrics. But there's that part where I sing, where she sings, that's so funny. The part where I say, basically it was like, through the darkness that I saw the light. So who am I to judge that someone else is going through this journey? Like, who am I to judge them? That's the understanding you get when you go through the portal of love. You're like, oh, wait a minute. They're on their journey. Like, I was there. Like, I was there one time. And so there's nothing wrong with them being there, you know, because I was there. And there was no way for me to be here if I didn't pass through that phase. And then you start to see the world differently, because you look at people and you no longer hate. You no longer judge. You no longer feel like you need to tell people what to do, how to do it the right way, you know? You don't need to tell people you're doing it wrong, because you understand where they're at, and you understand that they need to choose. Just like you chose to move forward from that, you need to let them choose, and you need to let them choose on their own time. It is not yours to choose for them. You can only choose for you. And you only get to this realization when you realize, after you've chosen it, after you've chosen it, you're able to look back and be like, oh my God, this whole time I've been like trying to get this person to see it my way. You know, I've been trying to, show people, how to do it, and it's like, no, you don't show people how to do it. You just do it. And they see the example. And maybe they learn from it, and maybe they don't. And that doesn't even matter, because you're on your journey, and you need to remember that. That is the most important thing. Forgiveness. Open your heart. You have no more need to validate yourself, for validation from others. You just are. And this is where you start to feel that freedom. Like, the pressure is off. The pressure is off. The portal of channeling. Once the pressure is off, this is where you look around you and you literally see wisdom everywhere. You begin to listen to spirit. Your intuition and your ability to become a channel for wisdom to flow through you expands. And you begin to finally hear the voice of your soul. This is where you become that, you start to become that channel of grace. You start to let spirit speak through you. You listen to the messages, you understand, and you do your best. This is not about being perfect, because you understand that, obviously, through the portal of love. You understand that forgiveness, letting go, the not trying to force anyone else to change or become something that they don't want to be or they're not ready to be. But that's why it's so hard sometimes, because when you get to that place and you're in a relationship and you know that the other person's not ready and you want them to be so fucking bad, but they're just not there. And then you have to walk away. That's hard. That's hard. People don't understand. I mean, that's what happened when I finally decided to leave my relationship. I knew that it was the best thing for me, and I understood it on a very clear level. And I also felt the pain that my ex had to feel when I was like, I don't want this anymore. Like, this is not working. And it was so difficult to be like, to try to explain it when I knew that he wouldn't understand what was going on, you know? And that's hard AF. But that sometimes we have to do that. And we have to like go on our journey and continue on and bless them, bless ourselves, bless the time we had together, just bless our journeys and then continue on, because there's no time to waste, you know? But when you finally step through that portal of love and you step into the portal of channeling, it's like you free yourself now. Your worries are not there anymore. Now you're actually free to listen. Like you dropped the weights and you can literally fly. Literally fly, get lighter, go into those higher vibrational frequencies. That's where the subtle energies are. That's where the messages are. That's why you step into this portal of channeling, because you begin to channel messages. The portal of light. When you get to the portal of light, or through the portal of light, you realize that you are a being of light and that you are one with God. You feel your essence on a very deep level. You begin to discover your higher purpose. And you begin to step into leadership, because the world needs you to be a leader by example, not a leader by who's famous or not for doing the work. You know what I mean? It's not what it's about. Although that kind of life could maybe possibly be fun, but it's not what it's about. It's about you being a leader by being an example of the light. And you may even channel your own body of teachings to the world. Just like these portals, the titles of these portals, and these 7 major portals, I came to me, in a channeled message. And everything that I teach, I'm channeling. Like, I know I learned all of this through experience, but there's something deeper than that going on here. And the more I open myself up, the more it's almost like the more I close my eyes and open my third eye, or close my eyes and open up all my senses, the more I step into that purpose. And it brings me information. It tells me, you're going to make a moon goddess training. You're going to run an Earth School for Lightworkers. You're going to create a really fun YouTube channel. Like, you're going to do tarot readings online. You are going to write a book. You are going to create a moon goddess necklace that's like so epic. Like, you never even knew how to make jewelry your whole life, but somehow you're making jewelry now. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you're going to create an oracle deck, and you're going to create a tarot deck, and it's like, whoa, like, it's a lot, but it's like, this is what starts to happen. You know what I mean? It's like, you get ideas, and that's it. Those are it. Like, you got to follow those dreams. You got to follow those things, right? And then the portal of infinite possibilities. This is where you finally step into freedom. You begin to live life in effortless manifestation and co-creation with like-minded people. You understand that you are a part of something greater, and that every small act of love and kindness and creative expression counts. You desire to teach and live by example. You become a channel for grace. By being that example, you literally help other people. You lift people up by being in that freedom. You lift people up by being in that state of bliss. You know that whatever you want to do and you put your mind to, you can achieve. And you know that if you're not achieving it, it's because you're holding yourself back. And if it's not happening, it's because it wasn't meant to be. And there's something better, something more amazing coming. It's like you are finally free of all the bullshit. And you can be yourself now, your true self. You don't have to live by the standards of society. You don't have to live by the rules that people tell you, right? You can be you, your own individual you, and be happy doing it. And understand that you're still in this world, right? You are an infinite being with this fucking amazing knowledge. You still have to live in the world. You still have to go out and buy your groceries. You still have to go get gas, you know? You still have to pay your car bill. You still have to live in this world. But you're in this world and you have this little secret that even though you're in this world, you know there's so much more. You know there's magic. You are magic. And you walk, and every step that you take is magic. And that's what helps with the ascension of the earth. That is what creates the change. That is how you literally live the change that you want to see in the world. You become the change that you want to see in the world. Like Gandhi, right? Like do Gandhi. Be the change that you want to see in the world. That's it. This is it. This is how you do it. It's not by becoming famous or doing something amazing. It's by like freeing yourself. Free yourself. I'm getting chills. Like I almost cried just there. Okay. So let's talk about protection and boundaries. How can you protect yourself? So we just said we're still in the world, right? We still have to do this. We still have to be here and like wait it out until we die. No, I'm just kidding. But the truth about setting boundaries. Boundaries is not about putting up walls. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not about putting up walls. It's about empowering yourself. It's about stepping into your power. Because when you are strong in your sense of self, in your confidence, and your ability to advocate for yourself, that becomes your boundary. For example, you're wanting protection because you're scared or in fear. That's not a healthy boundary. Because a healthy boundary is knowing when to walk away, when to stay, when to say no, and when to say yes. It is your inner strength. Calling on your spirit guides or creating a shield of protection around you will not work if you're still feeling insecure, weak, vulnerable, and fearful. So, how do you protect yourself? You go through the portals. You do the work. You heal yourself. You make those tough decisions that you need to make in your life. And you fucking like put your big girl panties on and you move on, you know? You get on with it. You get off your butt and you walk again. And you start taking steps. You know? This is not easy. We're awakened beings in a world where people are asleep. And our job is to help people awaken? You're like, what? Right? But your job is not really to help people awaken. Your job is to awaken yourself and to be so damn happy that everybody's like, dang, what is she on? Like, I want some of that. You know? That's how you could create boundaries. You step up and then people just like fall away because they can't hang. They can't hang in that space. They don't know how yet. They need to go through their journey. They need to go through their own healing space. They need to go through their own dark night of the soul to finally understand, like, oh my God, like, I finally get it, right? Haven't you gotten at some point in your life to a place where you felt, oh my God, now I know why they're so happy, you know? Like, wow, I always thought they were like this amazing person, but it's like, no, they probably went through some shit to get where they're at. And now nothing affects them anymore, you know? So setting healthy boundaries is not being in a state of fear. It's not being like, oh, help me, you know? It is like being in your power. That's how you set healthy boundaries. When someone walks into the room, you can feel their energy, right? If they're scared or insecure, you can like feel like, oh my God, that, you know, dogs. Let's talk about dogs, okay? There's a group of dogs and they're at the dog park, and this dog comes in and the dog is all like freaked out of the other dogs, and then instantly the other dogs start attacking it. Okay? It's like, yeah, you, that one, get that one, rawr, you know? But then a dog walks in like, what, you know? And they all just kind of like, you know, walk away, like, don't mess with that one. That's your shield of protection. I'm sorry. It was just too funny not to use that example, but that's literally how it works. Like, that's your boundary. Like, don't mess with it. Like, you know what I mean? You can't hurt me. You can't hurt me because I know how it all works. I see it. I see it all, and you can't hurt me anymore. All right. Let's do our shamanic journey. Before we actually do it, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it is. A shamanic journey is an opportunity to travel into the world of your subconscious mind. It is a way to begin to heal your inner child, your old wounds that hold you back from moving forward in your life, from healing. It's a journey into the underworld, into the ukupacha. It is a brave journey to face your fears and begin to truly heal in your life. Fixing typos as we go. All right, so let's go back to the slide. Or actually, what I'm going to do is go back to me. Here we go. So we're going to do this journey, and it's going to be really simple. It's not going to be very long because I want you guys to get a taste of it. I want you guys to understand what it's like, what it looks like, what you can kind of achieve through it, and then I want you to keep doing it on your own. There's tons of drumming soundtracks that you can get on YouTube. There are some drumming soundtracks that you could get on iTunes. You just find the one that works for you, and you just like go with that, and you go on your own journey. You can even drum yourself if you have a drum. So I'm gonna get my headphones on. Actually, I don't really need the headphones on, but yeah, I actually don't need them. I just realized that I don't need them because I'm going to use both this mic and the one that I have right here. All right. So what I do want you to do right now is find a comfortable space to lay down. I want you to be laying down on your bed or on the floor, whatever works for you. Just find a comfortable place to lay down. And if you need a blanket, put a blanket on. If you need a pillow, use a pillow, like whatever works for you. Just get as comfortable as possible. And I'll tell you what to do next. So if you don't mind doing me a favor, it's letting me know when you're laying down. But once you've laid down, I want you to close your eyes and just begin to focus your energy. I want you to take a deep breath in And a deep breath out. And I want you to just listen to the instructions before I start drumming. So once I start drumming, you are going to enter in through your third eye. You're going to travel through your third eye into some kind of cave or some kind of opening in the earth that you know of, that you've seen before, or it can be one that you imagine in your mind's eye. But I want you to go into the center of the earth. And as you travel through, you're going to get to a point where you discover that you're in this place. It might be a room, it might be a place of nature, it might be an open space. Whatever comes up for you, whatever appears to you, I want you to just be with it. And as you find yourself in this place, so right now I'm still just giving you the instructions. This journey will begin once the drum starts, but when you find yourself in that place, and it's a safe place, and you feel grounded where you are right now, you can also imagine that grounding cord going down into the center of the earth. And as you're in this place, I want you to communicate with your soul. This is where you will encounter your soul. Your soul will come to you in some way, shape, or form. There's no way to tell how that's going to happen. And you will speak to it and you will ask it, what is my purpose? And when the drum starts to change the beat, that's when you start to come back the same way that you came. Through the cave, through the tunnels in the earth, right back out into your body. And that will complete the journey. So let's begin. Close your eyes. can slowly start to open your eyes and make your way back up. Take your time. The drum can be very, very relaxing. I mean, I totally relaxed right there. But give yourself a moment, if you can, right after we finish the class, to journal about your experience. If you'd like to share with us in the comments, whether you're here live or whether you're watching the replay, feel free to do that. I actually would love to see what your experiences are. And really, the thing about shamanic journeys is there's no right or wrong way to do it. Whatever experience you had is perfect, and it's important to remember that because we can get sometimes a little bit like, oh, I didn't do it right, or I didn't really have a journey, or whatever happened was your journey, and it is what was meant to happen. It was what was meant to be for you in this moment right now. And that's what I said, why I said in the beginning of class that it's important that you guys repeat this shamanic journey as many times as you want to. You can travel to, you know, meet your inner child. You can travel to talk to your soul. You don't have to travel underground. You can actually root yourself onto the earth. Always visualize that grounding cord going to the earth, but then you can travel up towards the heavens and towards the stars. Whatever calls you. This is, in essence, an astral travel that you take, you know, while you are conscious. It's really powerful. It can be used for healing. It can be used for finding answers to things. It can be used for just taking in a a moment to be with yourself. This can be your little, you know, safe place, you know, whenever you need it. Yeah, I'm sure it was a lot, especially if it was your first time doing it. So that's why I said just like take it in, just like kind of let it process, and know that sometimes the answers to your experience or the messages to your experience don't come until later, like maybe tomorrow, or, you know, weeks, days, years, months, you know. Sometimes it takes a while, but it's all, just trust that it's all part of the journey. And I commend you for doing this, especially if it was your first time doing a shamanic journey. And I am also thinking of making shamanic journey videos on my YouTube channel that people can use to do shamanic journeys when they're home. So we will finish out these slides real quick because we're pretty much done. But what are some next steps that you can take for yourself after this class is over? One of them is to start paying attention a little bit more to where you are in life. Definitely practice your own shamanic journeys. I have a Facebook group that is called the Channel for Grace Soul Tribe that is free to join, and I highly recommend you guys join that group because you can communicate with the tribe, and you can get in touch with people that are, you know, in the same vibrational frequency as you, wanting to know the same things, curious about life, curious about light working, portals, all these things, and you'll make new friends basically, because I can tell you that the community that we're creating here is really, really beautiful. And I also post previews of videos on that I don't put out until a certain day. So for example, right now you guys get access to the pick a card reading for the eclipses, how are the eclipses going to change your life. That's a link to that is in the group. So you just have to request to join and I will accept it. And that's an opportunity for you guys to stay connected with me and with the community of this Channel for Grace. The master classes that I have recently done, there was 2 previous ones to this class. One of them was the Moon Goddess Masterclass, and the other one was the Intuition Masterclass. They all have the same format, and they all have, like, they're all jam-packed with a lot of information. I will still keep those up for purchase. So if you guys want to purchase one of the other ones, if you didn't get a chance to do the other ones, they're still up for purchase. And once you purchase them, I will send you the link that is the private YouTube video so that you can have that and watch as many times as you want to. And the other thing that we will have next year is another session of the Earth School for Lightworkers. And the Earth School for Lightworkers is basically an 8-week in-depth course to help you step into your purpose. It is co-led by me, Jai Gobind, and Dr. Don, who is my soon-to-be husband. But he's amazing. He's a teacher, he's a leader, he's shaman, he's a master body worker. He's, you know, been working with people in their healing path for a very long time. He's an amazing resource to have. And this last course that we did was just amazing. So there's also many other special guest speakers that come into the school, and I do interviews with them. So it's really, really fun, and you get to build beautiful community. We dive really deep into topics like opening the mind, knowing yourself, quantum mechanics of the universe, honoring yourself, discovering your path, diving deeper, activating your creativity, and stepping through the portals. We literally guide you through it. We guide you on a journey of awakening and ascension. And you can get on the list now. The date has not been decided yet, but it will be not till next year, so you got some time. But if you want to get on the list of interested people on the wait list, then definitely go to channelforgrace.guru, which is my website, and put your name and your email into the Earth School for Lightworkers link, and that will be awesome. You can do the same for the Moon Goddess training, and the Moon Goddess training will be happening in September. So if you're curious about that, the link is also on the website. It's a completely different program. It's for women. It's really beautiful. All the information is on the website too, so you can check that out as well. You guys are amazing. Yes, Sheila, the Earth School for Lightworkers was awesome. Yes, so many tools to help lightworkers. Priceless. So I want to, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them, but I think you guys have pretty much asked all the questions you needed. And you're probably kind of a little out of it after that shamanic session. But I just want to make sure that you guys know that this was, for me, as it probably is for you, a beautiful and fun experience. I will be doing more classes like this in the future, so definitely stay on the lookout for that. And yes, thank you guys so much. Have an amazing rest of wherever you are in your life, weekend, week, you know, month. Let me switch back to me. You guys are amazing, and I will hopefully see you in the future somewhere along the line. Definitely keep checking out my videos on my YouTube channel, Channel for Grace. You're welcome, Lindsay. Yes, so Satnam, you guys. I will see you all very soon. Ciao.